So maybe you just started dividend investing, or maybe you're just in the research phase of dividend investing. Maybe you haven't even opened up a portfolio yet, but you like the idea, at least in theory, of earning say $100 or maybe $1,000 per month in dividend income. Now, especially if you're newer to investing, you probably have came across some of these ultra high yielding ETFs that might offer a 90+% distribution rate and offer income amounts on a monthly basis that seem incredible. Now, on the other hand, maybe you came across different index funds that offer exposure to super tried and true underlying companies, but don't necessarily offer that much income potential. Well, in this video, I'm going to share with you guys exactly how much money you need to invest in multiple different stocks and or ETFs in order to earn $1,000 per month in dividends. Now, as you can see in my personal long-term portfolio, I'm currently earning almost $93,000 per year in dividends, or around $7,800 per month at 32 years old. Now, I started investing around a decade ago, and I've been buying dividend-paying stocks and ETFs basically every single day the market's been open, and by no means has this been an easy journey, but here we are. But if you're a dividend investor that does want to see what it would take potentially to earn a consistent $1,000 per month in dividends, I promise you you're going to want to stick around until the end of this video. So make sure to drop a like down below, subscribe, and let's get right into it. My A to Z dividend investing ebook has helped countless dividend investors get started with their journey. And my custom dividend tracker that I'm constantly using here on the channel has also helped so many investors stay on track and allow them to see their dividend income in real time. Well, today I have another treat for you guys. I'm not only going to offer you my A to Z dividend investing ebook and the custom dividend tracker, but also just for a short limited time, I'm going to be adding in my brand new weekly dividend blueprint ebook to show you how you can get started with weekly dividend ETFs and add this into your investing strategy. This offer is not going to last long, so go ahead and click the first link down below in my description, and you're going to get both ebooks and the custom dividend tracker bundle. But like I said, please act fast because this won't be around for long. Now let's get back into the video. So before we go through some of the math and I share with you guys how potentially easy and or hard it would be to earn a consistent $1,000 per month in dividends, share with you the math behind that and everything else, I want to share with you guys some basic facts, especially if you're newer to investing. Dividend income is only one piece of the pie. You also have to look at total return as a metric, which is price performance plus dividends, or basically how much total performance has a stock or ETF had historically. Now, if we look at VIG, for example, which is the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF, which invests in stocks in the S&P 500 index, representing 500 of the largest US companies. Now, a lot of newer investors, including myself in the early days, are sort of bored when they think about the idea of buying into VIG because the S&P, although it has done pretty well historically, it doesn't really pay that much in income and it's pretty diversified, so it's not necessarily going to move in price all that significantly in a short time frame. But I promise you, if you zoom out a little bit and do some research, that is all going to change. If you look at VIG, for example, on the max time frame, just over the past decade or so, this ETF is up 408%. Now sure, VIG only pays a 1.2% yield as far as dividends go, but this ETF has outperformed almost all other stocks and ETFs across the market during this time frame. Now let's look at TSLY, for example, a relatively newer ultra high yielder, which offers a distribution rate as of right now of 91%. Now this ETF is relatively new, so we don't necessarily know what it's going to do over the next decade or so, but this ETF basically references Tesla stock, uses options, and earns a ton of income from doing so. Now this is because Tesla stock has a high degree of implied volatility, so there is a lot of money to be made in the options market. Now looking at the distributions for TSLY, for a single share, we're talking almost 60-70 cents per share per month, sometimes being as high as $1.22. Now, if we look at TSLY in the max time frame, this ETF not only has not grown, but it's actually down 80%. So my simple point is this: just because an ETF offers a massive amount of income potential does not mean that it's going to outperform an ETF that doesn't. Now, don't get me wrong, there's tons of higher yielding ETFs that I personally buy into and that I talk about all the time on my channel that don't trade down into the right and that do offer a ton of income potential. And we're going to talk about a few of those in today's video, so don't worry. But I really just wanted to drive the point home that just because a stock or ETF doesn't yield as much doesn't necessarily mean that it's not a good investment. Now, like the title of this video says, I wanted to go through multiple different ETFs, different stocks, and share with you guys what it would take to earn $1,000 per month in dividends. Now, even if you or I were earning an extra $1,000 per month in dividends, let's say, doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to be enough money for us to retire off of or maybe quit our day job, but still $1,000 is a substantial amount of money, especially if you're going to use that money to help out with bills, expenses, or maybe even just to use for anything else. Now with VIG, for example, like I said, this is not necessarily a dividend-oriented ETF. It tracks the S&P 500. It's going to be much more growth-oriented. And I shared with you guys a second ago how much this ETF has grown historically. Now, because VIG pays $1.73 per share per month as of right now, which also, by the way, is probably going to grow over time, that means we're at around 58 cents per share per month on average. Now, the way the math works to figure out how many shares of VIG you would need to earn $1,000 per month, you just take how much in dividend income a share of VIG on average earns per month and then divide that by 1,000. Now, in theory, you need 1,724 shares of VIG, which currently cost around $515. So in theory, to earn $1,000 per month from this ETF, that again is much more of a growth ETF, you would need to invest almost $900K. Now, on the other hand, I just shared with you guys TSLY, for example, the ETF that has decayed like crazy over time, but it's also offered a ton of income potential. The last payout from TSLY was 57 cents. That means you would need 1,754 shares of TSLY, which currently costs like $8 per share. So you would need $14,000 in theory to earn $1,000 per month. Now, keep in mind, TSLY does not pay a consistent amount every single month. It could go up, it could go down. And again, looking at the performance as far as TSLY's price goes, I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. But there are some decent higher yielders that haven't decayed like crazy over time. I mean, JEPQ is up around 5% in the max time frame, which is not great whatsoever, but this ETF also yields around 9, 10, 12%. Now, based off of JEPQ's most recent payout of 48 cents, you need 2,083 shares of JEPQ in order to earn $1,000 per month. Now, JEPQ is around $53 per share, so with this one specifically, you would have to invest into around $108,000 worth of it in order to earn a consistent $1,000 per month. So that's the basic dividend math that you have to use to figure out whatever stock or ETF you want to look into and see how many shares of whatever stock or ETF you're looking at to earn $1,000 per month in dividends. You just take $1,000 per month and divide it by how much in dividend income whatever stock or ETF pays on a monthly basis. You get a number of shares that you need to buy into and then multiply that by the amount of the shares. Now, across my portfolio, I have several different positions that pay me north of $1,000 per dividends per year. And like I said, as of right now, I'm almost at $7,800 per month. But I really wanted to make this video to drive home the idea of not yield chasing. Don't just buy into stocks and ETFs because they offer some substantial amount of dividend income. Although dividend income is an important metric and should always be just a piece of the puzzle. So now that I share with you guys how many shares of several different positions you will need to buy into in order to earn $1,000 per month. And I share with you the dividend math so you can do this on your own. I lastly, most importantly, want to hear from you guys down below. When it comes to dividend investing, what are some of your favorite positions across the market as of right now? Drop their ticker symbols in my comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to please drop a like on it and subscribe for more future content like this. Thanks as always for stopping by, and if you are interested in investing, make sure to check out these recent videos I posted right here.